Carly's always suffered from mental health conditions such as depression and anxiety, and to a degree paranoia. And for many, many years was self-medicating with alcohol in particular. However, it's only really been treated while she's been living in Rockhampton, and she's had a really fabulous GP who was a very good friend of our grandmother.
I've been sort of a heavy alcohol drinker since I was in school. You know, taking the alcohol to school and leaving it in my locker, that sort of thing, frowned upon as well. I never got caught though.
She's always had an issue with alcohol. I didn't realise that she was taking drinks to school. It doesn't surprise me though when I think about just different aspects of our life and different influences, the ease of access to it, the depression, the self-medication, not having anyone understand what her head was doing to her, and it was her way of coping, so it makes sense.
So I suffer still from depression for a really long time. Been medicated for it since 2015, and a lot of that depression and sadness comes from not being able to conceive a child naturally, or even with doctor's help, because I did IVF for 8 years.
There is a point in time that I firmly believe was the tipping point. It was like the straw that broke the camel's back. And it was 2 days after that event that everything, like she actually lost the plot, and that was my language when I was trying to describe it to people.
So I've been told my health started declining in December last year, leading up to, was it March, I think, was when I left work. I don't remember my final days being at my work. Don't remember getting up and leaving on that last day, or even calling in sick the days after that. My brother flew from Brisbane to Rocky and spent the weekend with me and somebody who I was seeing at the time, and I have no memory of him being at my house at all. And he said that he spent the whole weekend. The only reason I know that he was here is because he told me when I was in rehab.
So it was in December last year that I really started to notice that the decline was a little bit more than what she'd ever been through before. And I was, I guess, observing, watching, keeping an eye on what was happening for her in the background. And then it really became quite apparent in March when it all really started to fall apart.
So my family got really concerned for my health because I presented as a crack addict with dementia. I don't smoke crack. Like, I've tried it in the past, but it's not something that, it's not a go-to for me anyway. So I was quite surprised. My family even brought a drug test kit around, and I did that, which it came back negative.
That happened at the very end of March, and the first presentation to the hospital was on the 3rd of April. And I was the person who took the drug test to her to confirm that she was not on crack, because I have had a lot of experience with crack addicted family members, and if she was on crack, then she would have had to have sorted that out herself. So I went to the pharmacy, the late night one, I bought a kit, I had the receipt, I made her test at home, then I took her to the hospital. I showed the hospital as well as the nurses, anyone who would listen to me, that I had a drug test, this is the result, she's not on crack. Carly's very slim, very small, and she was a lot smaller at that time as well, and she did look like someone who was using hard drugs. And it was a battle and a half to prove to even reception staff and nurses and doctors that she was not a crack addict. This was a genuine mental health condition that was escalating beyond anyone's control, and we needed help, and we needed it now.
And then I was taken to the emergency department by my sister. I don't remember that. And then I was legally detained by police in the ED, but I left, and then people were out looking for me and missing persons post went up. Because at the time, in my mind, with my psychosis diagnosis, I didn't think I needed to be there. I didn't think there was anything wrong with me. But it was very clear to the outside world that there was something wrong with me, and that's why I was legally detained.
So we essentially, Carly was in some really awful situations at the hospital. The emergency department is not the place for mental health crisis. The paranoia was through the roof. She didn't believe she needed to be there. It was a constant battle for me to keep her there. When she did go missing in the morning and I found her and got her back to the hospital, my dad came to help me as well, and he was at the hospital, and he's a pretty strong, hard, old school man, and even what he was seeing from Carly just blew his mind. And it was that evening when I activated Ryan's rule at the emergency department, because they were not taking me seriously. They were not taking her condition seriously. They were not medicating her properly. Her state of psychosis, paranoia, anxiety was ridiculous, and the lows were really low. She was abusing me, calling me every name under the sun, threatening me with different things that I'd done over the years that she could throw at me. You know, no one's perfect. So I just sat there and copped it all because I knew that if I left, she would escape again, and I just needed her in that secure mental health facility. The 3rd of April wasn't when they actually kept her. That was a pretty much a waste of time at the ED. That was my first pretty public battle with the health department. It was later on, when Carly was picked up for drink driving, that the police took her to the Bolsover Street police station. I was out at Gracemere at the time. I drove in and she was a raging lunatic, for want of a better word. Couldn't speak rationally to her, was screaming, yelling, spitting, hitting police officers. Thought she had been assaulted as well, which she thankfully now realises was her mind playing tricks on her. But it was that night at the police station, I think it was around the 17th or 18th of April, so about 2 or 3 weeks later, after I first started looking for help, that the police and the mental health paramedics came and put her under a forcible detainment and took her to the ED.
So I don't know when that will be lifted. There'll probably be another tribunal. I'm not sure when that is either, but they'll certainly let me know. So yeah, I'm under a treatment authority. I'm not currently in a rehabilitation centre, but I do outpatient programs with Lives Lived Well, mental health and women's health. It's amazing, like so good that I can't wait to go back. Yeah, because they really focus around mental health, and that's what I need rather than addiction. Like, I do still need help with that side of it as well, but I think mental health treatment is better for me at Step Up, Step Down.
She's got a lot of ownership and accountability for her own condition and her actions and choices that have led to where we are today. And I think her level of emotional intelligence and maturity in general has increased significantly because of what she's been through since December, but more specifically since April. She has grown up a lot, and not that she was immature or anything before that. She just is a different person, but in a positive way.
Really good, yeah. I'm on some medicine now. Some of them I've been on for a long time, and the dose has been increased. and others are new ones. So I think with that and without the substance abuse, that's why I'm sort of starting to feel like I'm a normal person again. But I'm sort of in the headspace now where I think I can move on with my life and not let that upset me anymore, because I do have 3 stepchildren, and I also consider Nyree's children like they're my own as well.